If you plan to build a poison team, then Tuesday is a must-have for you, simply because she's the poison team enabler, as she allows your allies' poison to crit. And if you are wondering how big the damage difference is, well, it is pretty big. So naturally, you want your Tuesday and your entire poison team to have a decent crit build while maintaining a high attack after her release. Now the problem is, usually characters that rely on DOT debuff have a low base crit. Even Tuesday herself has a low base crit. But thankfully, her S2 can give all of the enemies a crit rest down up to 20%, as well as increasing the Genesis damage taken for the enemies for 2 rounds. I already mentioned this in my other video. In short, Genesis damage that can crit loves the damage buff. And this is how big the damage difference is by just a simple Lorelei S2 buff. Also, poison debuff in particular loves attack buff, which will be really important for us later. Now, I keep on hearing that Sarabi is really important for Tuesday's team. But let me ask you one simple question. Why do you think Sarabi is needed in her team? Is it for the poison debuff? Tuesday's S1 card can already give you quite a lot of poison debuff. Even her passive gives her a chance to land a poison debuff through Lorelei debuff card, or any cards that have a debuff in it. Is it for the poison detonation? Tuesday's special domain from her ultimate can also detonate all of the poison debuff when its duration ends. The only instance where Sarabi's extra poison would slightly matter is for this additional damage from Tuesday's ultimate. Sure, the poison debuff from Tuesday's passive only lasts for 1 round, but her special domain freezes the poison debuff duration while it is still active. I also heard someone saying that, which I interpreted as, Tuesday is strictly only for the poison team, and that is so wrong. Here look, Isolde's Prelude buff can give Tuesday a chance to land a poison debuff through 37's attack card. Even Jay would love Tuesday and her S2 debuff. Kakania or any characters that can land a Genesis damage would love her as well. Tuesday is much more flexible than you think she is, and I've been loving her Moxie storage system cause it has been very useful to me. I heard in the future there will be a poison DPS named Willow, and when I look into her skills, her inside passive should already give the enemies enough poison debuff. Sure, Willow will need a lot of poison cause she will convert the regular poison debuff into her own special poison debuff, but more than the necessary is an overkill. As much as I like Sarabi as a character, I'm not saying she is bad, she is just not necessary in Tuesday's team. And if we are talking about the future poison team, to me it will look like this. Remember, poison debuff loves attack buff. More attack means more poison damage, and based on the test result, it also loves the damage buff. Lastly, if you think it is worth it to trade either of the attack buff from Kakania or crit and damage buff from Villa for an extra 2 poison debuffs from Sarabi, then go for it. As for the resonance build, make sure to prioritize attack first, then try to soft crit and damage. And for the pattern, thankfully there is a hyper pattern for her, which gives her more attack. For the psychube, her own that you can get from the current 2.1 event is already the best for her, mainly for the default crit boost and the poison damage amplifier.